Green room. Oh yeah, I forgot. Good evening, Debbie in the green room. This is fancy, right? You look like a Hollywood star back there in the green room, and none of the other people can see you. So I'm just going to go into the group because I'm not sure if they have seen the link. Why is the reception looking so weird? Natalie, good evening, Natalie. Have you brought all your friends with you? So nice to see you. I know, sorry, it's a bit, there we are. But I have to look up here because that's where the camera lens is. I have to keep remembering that. I've moved the, can you hear me well, Natalie? I'm just going to send a text to the group. Good evening, Julie Marie. Let's send a, where's my phone? Hey there, yes, we've got a couple on. We've got two, so you can see each other, but I can't quite see you yet, Julie. Oh, she's here. Thank you. There's a little bit of a delay. Let's just put a little text in the group so that they know we are here and that we haven't run away. We've got three. Who's our third person? Oh, yeah, I've got to remember I can do this. Captions. First of all, I have to do this. Have I logged? Oh, I have. Welcome today. Oh, I've got to change that. Edit. Welcome today. 5. Dave. So. No, that's wrong. When we haven't got Caroline anymore, we've got an equally wonderful lady. We have the very glamorous. And how are we doing? We're 5. Well done. Everybody's just logging in. I'm just making sure that we have everything right in the studio. I do like saying that. I'll be saying a lot more of that in the future, so I better get used to it. Stop it, Debbie. Debbie Ashmole. Right. We have 6. We're doing well. Good evening, Thelma. Lovely to see you. Good evening, Alexa. Good evening, Maxine. We have all of our wonderful women here. Our wonderful wow women. That's where you're going to see your comments throughout the evening, going along the bottom there, because we are all singing, all dancing. And there we are, me and Marie. Gosh, I'm looking very pale. I need a holiday. I need a holiday. Evening blessings. There's Kim. Good evening, Kim. We're on 6. Just give them all a little minute. I need to post in the group that we are here. Although you've all found me. Have you got my phone? Have I got my phone? Have I? I can't see it. I must have dropped it on the floor. If anybody, can you see my phone, boo-boo? I love you so much. Thank you. That's my PA, my VA, my DA, my BA. I don't know what you call it anymore. So many. Is it 8:30 instead of 8 p.m. tonight? Kim, that's from you. Well, the answer is, Kim, no, it's 8 p.m. and you got it right. Yes. Let me just add a little note in the group just so that anybody who's coming along. Vivi, hello, my lovely. So glad that you're here. I can't believe I've got the 3 degrees with me. I've got Vivi, I've got Yvette, which sounds like Vivi. Yvette, Vivi, and Faye. They are the 3 sisters that are with us. Isn't that lovely? All looking for transformation in their life, all ready to leave behind the past and step forward to their magnificent futures. I love that. And isn't that just the way that you want it? When you're looking to do a transformation like this, it can be very daunting to do it on your own. And there's going to be a lot of challenges and a lot of stuff that's going to come up for you. So if you're doing it on your own, many, many times, I know in my journey, I've just wanted to go, oh, you know what, it's just too hard, because I didn't have anybody above me to mentor me back then. But when you've got 3 sisters, good evening, everyone, Yvette. When you've got 3 sisters, 2 other sisters that are cheering you on, you can't fail to succeed, can you? I think that's awesome. Right, let's have a little look. I'm just going to post in the group. Just give me a second, because I don't want anybody to miss out if they would like to be here. I'm going to put we are live now. Oh, except that it keeps making you schedule. I don't want to schedule. I want to do it now. 2015. Will it do that? No, it will only do 2038. Why can't I post live in the group anymore? Facebook is really being quite naughty. I'm live now. The link is in, I'm sure it's there. The link is on the page. So we have wonderful 9. I've just sent that message. Who are we waiting for? Let's see if we can do some. Leanne, I can't see the live. It came up in the notifications, but it doesn't take me anywhere. What am I doing wrong? Does anybody know? Bless her. What did you all do, girls? If you could post that back in the group, we've got Leanne. If someone could tag me in when live, we'll be grateful. Julie, you cracked it. Please help. Someone help poor Natalie in the group, because I don't know. I'm on this side of the broadcast. And just as I said that, Leanne, you found your way in. Look at that. Divine synchronicity. When our minds are thinking alike, we can send messages to each other without even having to speak. Really love that. Okay. I think that's all the group that we've put it in the group. We've let them know. Everybody that's looking is here. And everybody else will have to watch on replay, because it is Friday evening. I know you all, it won't let you post while you are recording. Yeah, okay. Ah, I see what you're saying, Kim. It's all new to me, all of this new technology. But you know what? The good news is everything that I'm learning, I'm going to be able to teach you too. And good evening, Ree. Oh, good evening, all. Yeah. And I can tell you how that can happen, because we have a wonderful sisterhood group, the Wow Women Sisters, Women of Wonder. And in that group, it's a subscription group, and we will be teaching all these kinds of things. So if you have a business, or you are looking to become more visible on your social media pages or anywhere else, there will be lots of training within that visibility group. Well, it's not a visibility group, it's a sisterhood group. It's there to support you through everything, through personal, through business. It's there to have a group of like-minded women who have all done the inner work. So they come with no judgment, they come with optimism, they come with nurture, and they just come to be their best selves. If you'd like to be part of a group of women that do that, then you are welcome to come and join. But I'm going to tell you more about that later. I'm not going to digress. We have 10 wonderful Wow women in the group, which I think they've just, we did have 10. Anyway, look, let's start, because we've got our lovely Debbie in the green room. Yes, we have a green room. First of all, I want to say we have 8 awesome Wow women here. And there was 10, but I'm sure they'll come back. I just want to say congratulations. Congratulations for being here on day 5. This has been a challenge of your hearts and your minds. And I know that when you're doing this and you're doing it in a group and you maybe haven't got anybody to bounce off, although you three sisters can support each other. But if you're doing this on your own, someone like Leanne, it can be a real challenge to come on every day and still do the things or do the challenges that can be quite uncomfortable, that can make you feel quite uncomfortable in your tummy, because that's where we hold a lot of our pain, isn't it? Or in the throat. So I commend you. If you are doing this challenge on your own, I absolutely commend you for being here on day 5. Well done. What does this say about you? Well, it says that you are everything that a Wow woman is. You are fearless, you are brave, you are resilient. You know what you want for yourself, even if you don't know how to get it. You certainly know that you're on a journey. You want to complete that journey. You want to become the person that you know you can be, without all the limiting beliefs of parents' opinions, friends' opinions, and everything else that's got you to a place of where you might feel stuck. You know that there is you beyond everything that's holding you back. There is the real you. Okay. So I just want to quickly run over. We've done 5 days. It's gone so quickly. I don't know if it's gone quickly for you, but it's definitely gone quickly for me. There is a lot to put into a challenge like this, because I want to make sure that you certainly have felt that shift. So in the comments just now, I just wanted to ask you, if you felt a shift of some kind, if you've experienced an awareness of some kind throughout this journey that has made you feel like you've moved forward or that you've progressed? I would love to see your comments in the group. Yes, Ree Brown, it has. Oh, bless you. So let me just, I'm going to wait a couple of minutes, see those comments come up. If you felt a shift of some kind, if you've had an awareness, maybe it's not been from me, maybe it's been from somebody else in the group. That often happens. When we all work together, we become a conscious collective. We start tuning into each other's thoughts. An example of that, today I had my third grandchild today. He's beautiful. He's only 4 pounds 3 and he's really, really lovely. And when I saw a picture of him, when my son sent him, I cried because he was just so gorgeous. And about 5 minutes later, my birthday twin, who is also one of my clients, Emma Jane, who has been a fantastic throughout this challenge. Don't you agree? Let's have some hearts for Emma Jane, because she's done really amazing supporting you. She rang me and she said, I don't know what it is, Anne-Marie, but I just feel so much love for your confidence rise. Awesome, Leanne. She said she feels so much love for my little grandson, and she said she doesn't know why she felt so strong. And I explained to her, because about 5 minutes ago I was crying at how beautiful he is. Thank you, Riri. So that just goes to show you. Thank you, Leanne. There is a conscious collective between us now. We are connected in our thoughts, in our journey, and we've all been working together. So if you have felt that shift, Leanne, that's awesome. Seeing your confidence rise, that's all I could ask of this journey. And if you've experienced that, I'm so glad. Leanne, I've been a bit cheeky. I've been looking in on your lives when you are doing the makeup demonstrations, and I've got to tell you, I didn't see any lack of confidence at all. I saw somebody who really knew their stuff, who was able to speak in great detail about their products and their services. I was really, really impressed. So if your confidence has risen, it really shows. I don't know what you were like before, but what I saw really, really impressed me. Julie, to be honest, I've been busy with other things in my life, but love listening to all what you say, and I know I'm taking things in. Absolutely, it happens by immersion. We have these conversations. You may not necessarily feel that they're giving you a shift right there and then, but as time goes on, and maybe beyond this challenge, you'll think about something, or you'll go to do something and you'll feel, oh, I did something different. And it's the one thing that I say to every single client I work with: notice what you notice, because it's by noticing the little things that shift happens, because it's a process. It's a process of little changes that then become habits, that then become your behavior. So it makes a difference when you're starting to notice that, because when you notice it, you attract more of what you notice. You feel what you focus on. Makes sense, doesn't it? So really brilliant. Thank you so much, Leanne. I'm going to put some of these wonderful messages up. I want to share how amazing. So yes, I've enjoyed the push to clean my office and my mind. Brilliant. Because and definitely the declutter day is so brilliant for clarity. Once you awareness, look, I looked up and I saw Kim there. Awareness, most definitely. I think that awareness, clarity, noticing what you notice are all things that you're going to start to experience, not just today, not just this week, but from here on. And I'm going to tell you, on Sunday, I have got something so awesome for you. If you've never, ever in your life experienced hypnotherapy, I have created a hypnotherapy to connect with the divine feminine. That's you. You are the divine feminine. And I've created a meditation stroke hypnotherapy. So, and I've done it on Sunday. Could have done it tomorrow, but I know tomorrow's a busy day. It's Saturday. You've got to get your shopping and your washing and do all the things that you need to do to prepare, because we're back to school on Monday. Woo, woo. So I didn't want to interrupt your Saturday, but Sunday at 6 p.m, when it's nice and quiet and you've got everything done, I'd love for you to join me. It's when everything's going to happen. It's when I'm going to announce the winners of all the prizes that I have. It's also when I'm going to tell you more about the program that you have an opportunity to go forward with. And it's also when I'm going to give you that fantastic hypnotherapy that's just going to send you to heaven. And it really is that good. I've created it specifically using all the feedback that I've had during this journey, so you're going to love it. Yes, certainly awareness. Everyone's feeling awareness. That's awesome. And that's exactly what there's a hypnotherapy tomorrow. Yes, at 10 a.m. Not 10 a.m. I've done it at 6 p.m. I'm sorry, I couldn't find you. Here she is. Good evening, Emma Jane. Leanne, it's not going to be at 10 a.m. because I know some people might be online at church. Some people might be doing stuff. The shops are open from 10 till 4 on a Sunday, so you might want to just catch a last bit of shopping. I thought I'd try and, connect with as many of you as possible, so I've made it at 6 p.m. Sunday, 6 p.m. It's a quiet day, and you deserve to be pampered. So if I was you, I would get yourself a nice hot chocolate that you can sip during the presentation, and then just be in a comfortable position where you can just relax and drift away and have smooth golden syrup poured into your ears. If that were a metaphor. I don't know if you like golden syrup, but just warm feelings of relaxation. Really good. Let's have a look at that. These are lovely, aren't they? These are fantastic. 6 p.m. I'm putting all these comments up. I've definitely felt something, and I know this is because I even fell off the wagon after having a terrible couple of days on day 3. Wow. But despite that, I have seriously had the urge to get back and catch up. I know this has and can make a difference for me. Oh, Ree, that is like, that's just heaven. And that's exactly what we are here for. And if we are doing that for you in this group and you're feeling that, and over this 5 days, you've had all these awarenesses, haven't you? You started off on day 1, actually understanding what fear is as an emotion and how it can be controlled. And then you went to day 2 and you realized that all those fears that you're possibly carrying around now as an adult came from when you were a little baby, from when you were a child, all the things that weren't resolved by your parents, by your caregivers. And it was about understanding that. And then day 3 was about decluttering and getting rid of everything that you don't need and preparing yourself for there, look, I'm going to put that up for you. Preparing yourself for the journey ahead. Sorry, I'm doing 2 things at once. Yes. So all of this has been a process, and it's a small process. It's been a 5-day process, and what you're going to have the opportunity to go on to will be a 8-session process, and everything that you are learning here, we will expand in so much more detail. And I'm just going to give you a quick overview of some of the things that we are going to be that you can work on intensively. Because I looked at all your comments. Obviously, I've been really closely monitoring what you've been sharing with me, and I have to say, I am so amazed at how honest and true and congruent and authentic that you have been when you have been posting. Some of these posts have actually moved me to tears. Why have they moved me to tears? Because I know that all that hurt from the past can not be forgotten, but I can show you how you can embrace the past, recognizing that it brought you here today. And I don't say that lightly, because I know for some people, some of the experiences that you've had, some of the deeply dark experiences that you've had, you might be thinking to yourself, I could never forget that. I could never get over that. That's going to be with me for the rest of my life. Well, I want to tell you, that's not true. It's not true. You won't forget them, but you will understand why they've happened and how you can use them. You can use those dark, negative experiences and you can turn them around and use them for something positive. And that truly can happen for you. And you can get to the point of where you look back at your past and you can say, I wouldn't choose that past, but I totally understand that everything happened for me and not to me. So that, and when I realize that, that means that I'm empowered to carry on doing what I'm doing, but in a more visible way, and accepting and getting rid of the shame, losing the guilt about the past, because that's such a big thing that we carry. And I'm going to tell you in more detail what the Flow program is about. I told you it's about getting in alignment. It's about all the things that you've just realized about yourself, all the little awarenesses that you're having, that there is more to you than what you've been seeing in the past. And when you go on this journey of flow, and Alexa's been on the journey of flow, there is another program called the Be the Real You. But for many of you who haven't experienced personal development before, I don't want you to go in too high, because when you go into the program Be the Real You, the work is very intensive. Emma Jane will share with you, it's been very intensive, and it can bring up stuff that if you haven't got people around you to support you and nurture you through the process, you might give up, and that would be the worst thing that would happen. So I'm going to go in gently with the Flow program. It's 8 sessions, and you'll learn to create positive habits positive habits that truly align with your soul purpose, the reason why you are here. And if you don't know that already, that's another part of the program, is about understanding what you are here for. What service are you here to give, to show the world? There you go. It's about embracing yourself, fully accepting every aspect of who you are. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, looking back at the past, looking back to some of those dark shadow experiences and understanding, yeah, I don't have to live that way anymore. I experienced that, and now I've got the tools to be able to say no to that reaction that I had in the past. So being empowered to speak your truth in any situation with assertiveness rather than with defensive anger or with guilt or with shame, or sometimes not even speaking at all in those really difficult conversations, difficult confrontations. You can learn, you will learn with me how to do that assertively. And I tell you, one person that's absolutely amazed me, Alexa, has been on the flow journey. And Alexa, Emma Jane, she's doing the Be the Real You. But these women, I knew them when their voices, they weren't empowered with their voices. And now they're totally different women. And I want you to understand that if there's a saying, a leopard can't change its spots, but it's not true. I've seen these women totally reinvent themselves and change their whole personalities to be assertive, to be empowered, to attract good people to them. And even, well, I'm going to go into that with Debbie. That's just, you know, when you start this work, it's not just about you. It's not just about the impact that it has on you and how you show up in the world, but it's about how you become a role model for the people around you, and you actually allow them to change too. So you get 10 for the price of one, because honestly, when you realize that your world around you looks the way it does because of what you think in here, and you start changing the way you think, you can seriously change the way that you are treated by the people around you. They may have treated you like that for years. You may have had these difficult relationships with siblings, with parents, with best friends. They may have been difficult. You may have been on the back foot. You may have been the submissive one in those relationships. When you do this work, that's all going to change. You will be able to have conversations which are at the same, there's Anthony. Wow. Hey, Anthony, how lovely to see you. A leopard can become a tiger, and Emma Jane has certainly showed that. Oh, I love that, Emma Jane, because you are a tiger. We've just been comparing bed sheets today, and she's getting told. Yeah, it's lovely. So yeah, that's what we're going to learn on the 8 magical sessions. They really are. And you get to have the last day with me. You get to have a VIP day with me, which is what I'm going to be doing with Debbie in a short while, which I really, really can't wait to do. And there's so much other more perks that go with it. I'll go into those a little bit later. But before I do anything else, I cannot keep my lady in waiting as a lady in waiting. Did you like that? Yeah, oh, yeah, I know. So let me get my questions ready. And ladies and gents, if you've got any questions that you would like to ask our lovely Debbie, who is just in the waiting room, waiting in the waiting room, please do put your questions up here. Yes, Anthony, I would love to catch up. I would really like to find out what's going on with you, because I've seen a little bit, but yeah, definitely. So, and by the way, for anybody that's wondering, this where we are now, it's live in the Essex Life Changer group. It's not live on my full page. It's live in the Essex Changer group, which is only people that have worked with me, really. So I've got my questions ready. I hope you've got your questions ready, because she's going to be a fountain of knowledge. And yeah, I'm just so honoured that I get the chance to interview her and that you can meet her too. So she's coming in now. Get your questions ready, get your hearts going, get your cheers. Oh yes, we've got some hand waving, we like that. And here she is. Oh yeah, I remember how to do it now. So good evening. I'm going to introduce her first. So this is Deborah Ashmole. That's her correct title, Deborah, but she likes to be called Debbie. She's a one-to-one diet consultant for Cambridge Diet. She is so much more than that. She is a businesswoman extraordinaire. She's blossomed into somebody that's absolutely formidable in the arena where she works. She inspires her clients, not just with her weight loss, which she's going to tell you about as well, but with her joie de vivre, her the way that she just embraces life now. And as she's told me, people have noticed that she's become so much bigger than what she ever was. And it's just a joy to see. But don't take my word for it. Meet her now.
Hi.
Good evening, Deborah. Did you see that?
Wow.
I know, right?
I nearly crept under the desk.
What, to check if it was you? It's most certainly you, Deborah. It is most certainly you. And this is one of the things you have to get used to when you've made this journey, that people will look at you different. People will have different expectations of you, and you have to calibrate because you're emitting a different vibrancy now. You are, and I notice it. And you know, it's just sometimes you think you just have to check in with yourself. Wow, how much you've changed. So let's start with that change. Debbie, tell us what it was like. So tell us the story. And I know some people have heard it before, but for those ladies that have never, ever heard you speak before, that they're new to me, I want them to know. We had Dr. Caroline yesterday, but I really want them to know that there's a wide variety of women and men that do this kind of work. And you don't have to be, you know, a particular type of person, a business person or a doctor. You just have to be you. You just have to be ready, right? So tell us what was going on for you before you saw me on the presentation. What was going on for you?
As in my personal life as opposed to my business life?
Well, I think it's affected both, hasn't it?
Both. Yeah. Okay, so yeah. I've been married for 20 years, very emotionally, mentally abusive marriage, and had completely, totally and utterly lost me. I knew the real me was inside, but she had just been squashed in every shape or form. And it just got to the point where all through the years, there were times where I was pushed right to that line, and there was just something stopping me. I was just too scared to take that step, and for various reasons. And then it got to the point where something really just blew up, and I just thought that I just snapped, and I just thought, that's it. I'm not living the next 20 years like I have the last 20. So that in itself was a massive step for me to take, very scary, especially when I lacked self-esteem. I didn't believe in myself, all that emotion, abuse, which is how you know, because it's very clever how it's turned around and it's all your fault and you this and that and the next thing.
It was a bit of a narcissist, this husband of yours.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And can I just ask you a question? Did you notice that he replicated your partner, your husband at the time? Did he replicate anybody else in the past? Because what we find is when we haven't done the inner work on ourselves and we don't know who we are, like you said, you were lost, you find you attract the same circumstances. So is this the first time that you've been in a relationship with a man, whether it's a father figure or whoever, where you'd felt you were always the submissive one, that you didn't have a voice, that you didn't have any control over the situation? Was this the first time, or had you experienced it before?
I didn't have many boyfriends, to be honest.
Bless you.
I kind of had guys that I was interested in and whatever, but it always seemed to feel I was interested in them, but they weren't really interested in me. So I hadn't really had many serious boyfriends up until then.
Right. So this was the first real boyfriend that you'd attracted him to you, and then you got married, and then this systematic narcissistic abuse was happening on and on, making you feel a certain way. Had you ever felt like that before?
No.
The way that this person made you feel in a relationship?
No. That was above and beyond anything that I had experienced before.
Right. And had you had any personal development before? Had you had counselling? Did you understand how it all worked, the process?
The only counselling we had was prior to that big explosion. He kind of talked the talk but didn't walk the walk, because I said, look, we need to go to counselling to try and save the marriage, because at the end of the day, you know, I'd made my vows and I had my faith, and, you know, I kind of felt I had to stay, you know, I had
Yeah.
to work it through kind of thing because of my faith. But
And
he said, "Look,"
children's always
the
a big
kids,
reason to stay. Yeah.
yeah. And so he did come along to counselling, but I was just so aware of, he was saying all the right things in the sessions, but then nothing was changing at home. So that's all that I had really. And then obviously those two, because they were through my church, those two husband and wife team, they did support me through the separation and the divorce, which I really did need support. But it was more about just surviving, and surviving the nastiness that it got even worse, until obviously that whole thing was finalized.
What was, so we get to this point, don't we? We tolerate, as strong women, and I always say strong women because it's only the strong women that tolerate this kind of, that we always think it will get better. We're eternal optimists, aren't we? We think, I'm going to put up with it because I've made my vows and I've got children, and I'm just going to keep with it because I'm sure that if I just hang on in there, that something's going to change. At what point did you realize this is not changing, and what did you do about it?
I think it was more a case of, because of the way that I am, and the kind of person that I am, if I'm a better wife and a better mother and a better housekeeper, and do this better and please him and keep him happy, and so it was all about giving and doing things better, that he would then be happy if I was better. Obviously I wasn't good at doing any of those things, but that's what he made me to believe.
Made you believe.
Led me to believe.
What was the catalyst?
The catalyst was, I had been back to South Africa to go and see my father, and I'd gone on my own, and he had started snooping. He couldn't understand why I was going on my own, and I just said, well, we can't afford for the whole family to go, and my dad's in his 70s, and I would never forgive myself if something happened to him, and I haven't seen him since we immigrated to England all those years before. And I got back, and he commented on some friends that I had arranged to meet up, and he knew I had arranged to meet up with them because he had gone in and snooped on all my Facebook and everything.
Very controlling, sounds like.
And it was only then, and then when the extent of how much he was watching, he was very clever on the computer, and he had set up things in the background where, so emails and stuff and messages that I was coming were automatically going to him. He was able to log in from work, because I then got a friend, and when we separated, to come in and look, and we were horrified because we could see that IP address coming up and it was all coming from his work. So there was that total control. Yeah. But fear.
Quite scary. I mean, yeah, that sounds really, really fearful. Almost like that film. You remember the one with Julia Roberts, when they used to, she had to put all the tins around the right way. He was so controlling. Sleeping with the Enemy.
Yeah.
Gosh, that sounds awful. So you must have had to really get some inner strength about you to feel that you could actually even leave a guy like this, who was so good at tracking you, controlling you, being a real narcissist, making you feel that you were the one that was going around the bend. And I recognize this so much. It's quite scary when you're in that situation to believe that you can break away and become your own person. Because they make you very dependent, those people. They take away all of your confidence.
Oh, yeah. Everything, self-esteem, confidence. It was at that point where I was just putting more and more weight on because I was, I wasn't happy. You can't leave because I'll take the boys away from you. And he knew the boys were my life. You'll never survive because you do a stupid job. But my stupid job was good enough, working in a school, so that because we together had decided that, for me to be at home with my children and not shove them into daycare. So it took great something. There was just something, I think, and this is what narcissists and emotionally abusive, they push you, and and then they bring, and oh, I'm so sorry, and and then it's all, and then they push you, but that particular time when I just got back from South Africa, it was that he pushed me past that line. And I always knew, I know, you know, I endure a lot, and I was like, I hate confrontation. I'm not a confrontational person. So
and that's
I'll
what
kind
those type of men bank on. They know your weaknesses.
Yes.
And they work on your weaknesses. They don't work on your strengths at all. They work harder on your weaknesses to keep you in that place of lack, in that place of helplessness, in that place of believing that you can't do anything without them. That's the whole point of narcissists. So for you to then break away and decide, I'm going to set up a whole new life, I already know that there's an inner strength that you didn't know you had, but that was very clear from your journey. Maybe you didn't realize it then, but for you to even be able to break away from that just says how much inner strength that you have. So let's fast forward a little bit, because we don't want to dwell too much on him. He doesn't deserve our time. Let's fast forward to you sitting down in the front room one day and feeling that even though you've done all this amazing work on yourself to get out of that situation, you found a new partner. I'll take it from there. You found a new partner, but what did you find happening to you?
Well, between the divorce and before I met my new partner, I had worked hard to get the real me back, and you know, the bubbly, happy-go-lucky girl that I know that I am. And then I did meet somebody, and it was going great and everything for, you know, a few years, and then slowly last year, because that's when I came to you, I kind of noticed I was starting to do the same things, where confrontation and, you know, just hold it in and not rock the boat. But I think this time, and not anything to him, it was, you know, it's life. It's
you allowed
things that, but I noticed I was starting to go back to the Deborah that was married, where, okay, fine, just, you know, just keep it cool and whatever. And I think that I was proud of, that I recognized I was starting to slide backwards, and I was adamant I was not going back there.
Yeah.
So that was the wow thing for me, was I recognize what's happening now, and actually it was me, not him. If you see what I'm saying, then there might have been a confrontation or a disagreement or whatever. It was actually me, the conditioned 20-year marriage me, but even before that, because of my father and all of that, where I was taught to not be assertive and everything. So the problem was actually me in the situation, where I needed to learn to actually not be so scared and not be so fearful.
So I just want to rewind on that a little bit. It wasn't so much that the problem was you, it's that you grew up in an environment where you weren't encouraged to be assertive and speak your mind and speak your truth. There was nothing wrong with you. It's, you know, oh, Debbie, what happened? Oh, Debbie. That's all right, she's back.
Oh.
What happened?
I don't know. It just said connection. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
I just believe it was, you know, the way I was brought up, not my mom, but my father was.
Absolutely.
My thoughts, feelings, and what I had to say wasn't important. And so that made me withdraw. And I believe that's why, as a grown adult woman, you know, my old age, can't be assertive. And that's something that I've always wanted to be.
Right. You can't be. Well, that was last year that you couldn't be. That's all changed now. But before we jump into that, because it's such an amazing story, I mean, let's just summarize that. That was like 40 years of, you know, being in that role of being the one that's, the people pleaser, the overgiver, the one that didn't feel that they had any right to be visible and have a voice, because that's what you'd been conditioned to believe. And it's all of those years that you had to undo. And that's massive, isn't it? Because it started in childhood, and you had all of that unpicking to do. So absolutely, so brave for you to have the confidence to think, right, I'm going to look for a way out of this. What happened next?
I had started my business, and obviously we were in lockdown, and I was working from home, and I was on Facebook because I was posting some ads and that for my business, and I was scrolling through and I saw one of these networking groups and it popped up and it had a little ditty about you were the guest speaker and what you were talking about. And I was just like, oh my goodness, how have I missed this? Because it was starting in like 10 minutes. And it was just something, I don't know what it was. It was just something I've got to go to this and I've got to hear what she has to say. And long story short, I was like messaging back and forth and trying to get hold of the lady on the network. And then I think you actually messaged me and said, oh, here we go. Here's the link. And I quickly got hold of the lady and paid the £5 or whatever it was to join. And, you know, I listened to what you had to say, and you were talking because you had the 3 things. You had like a week thing and then a 4-week thing. And then you had the full package one that you could do, and you were inviting us to the short version one. And after the thing, I got hold of you and we spoke and we talked about you told me, I said, well, can you tell me about, you know, the short one and the medium one and the long one options that are available. And, you know, you just put it out as it was. There was no, this is what I think, whatever. You were just like, blah, 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 and there, but if you did this one, blah, 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 there, and then if you did this one, and I was just like, no, those first 2 aren't going to do it for me. I know how much I've got to do. You know, I know what I want and what I want to get to. It was just a gut feeling. It was just, and I said to you, I said, I've got to do that, the full one, you know, be
the full program, be the real you. And even
I didn't want to mess around. I didn't want to go and do the week and then sign up and do the 4 weeks and then think. I just thought, you know what? I want this so much. I want to change so much. I want the help so much. For me to do that, I've got to do the full program, because I know what a lot of these programs are. You get little bits, but you don't get everything, and you need everything.
You need everything to complete the journey. And the thing is, when you sometimes, I mean, you know, the Self-Confidence for Life Success course, which it was back then, the 4-week program, it's very intensive, and it does a lot. But the only difference between the 4-week program and the full program is that you get me one-to-one. And for those people, I've asked them the difference between the hypnotherapy with the group. It's still as powerful, but when you do hypnotherapy one-to-one, and it's about you, it just changes, it just transforms you. And it doesn't transform you during that program. In fact, a lot of people will say they don't know what happened, but then they'll look back and they go, oh, I couldn't have done that before. And I couldn't have, that's what Emma Jane constantly says to me. Oh, I would never have done that before, because it is noticing what you notice, isn't it? And that's how you notice that you've had this transformation, because you're able to speak words. Oh, well, the story.
But you know, you say that, and I have to be perfectly honest here. When you spoke about, and there's some hypnotherapy, I honestly just thought, yeah, right. It's not, you're not going to be able to do that for me, kind of thing. And I was shocked. I just thought, oh my goodness, I can't, because it was. You get ideas about that kind of thing, and you know, unfortunately, there's bad press about it, where you see people up on stage and being told to do silly things, and you know, so you've got this whole but I just thought, there's no, how can you get into my subconscious? And it was like, wow. Wow.
And I think that's what it is, because if people have been on holiday before and they've seen those stage hypnotists, they do the same thing, but they very much work on your ego. So they're watching all the time. Who's the one who's got the big mouth? Who's the one that's showing off? Who's the one that's the most drunk? That's what they're looking for. And every time you're saying, oh yeah, I'll have that, they're going for the ones that are game. So they've almost convinced themselves before they've even got on the stage, if you see what I mean. It's all a big act that they do. And so when people see that, they get scared, because they think they're going to lose control of their own mind and their own opinions. But when you're working with a clinical hypnotherapist, it is all about you. And it's totally, and it's in a clinical environment where you have to be able to trust the person that you do hypnotherapy with, because it's so intimate and you're sharing stuff from the past, and it's emotional as well. You know,
Yeah.
there's been some really emotional sessions where, and those are always the ones where you have the biggest breakthrough. You know, the more that you allow yourself to open your heart, the more change can happen, because you're letting go of stuff that you no longer need. So that was really, really important that you allowed yourself to do that. You gave yourself permission to learn and be happy. And that's really difficult when you've been holding all that in for all of those years, to say, I give myself up to you. I want that change. I want that transformation. And you did that. So what were your doubts and fears about? So you saw the program, you saw me, you connected with me, and then you said, I want to do the full Be the Real You program. Now, before we had our first session, you've already said that there was a bit of you that was like, really, I don't know, there's a lot of big claims in that program. Is that really going to happen to me? What other thoughts and fears were going through your mind?
Oh, no, they absolutely, and I'm being absolutely honest, there was no, you know, when you told me what you would go through and what you would deal with, I had no doubt. I didn't have a single doubt. And there was, right from that very first Zoom call that we had after that networking meeting where you had spoken, there was just that immediate connection. There was, you know, when I say about I just didn't think it was possible for somebody to be able to get into my subconscious and help me work through it through hypnotherapy. That's what I mean by I just didn't think that I would be able to go into that state, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because you've never done it before. It's all unfamiliar.
Yeah. The rest of it, I had no doubt. There was that connection. There was that trust immediately. And I didn't know you from and I didn't even know where you lived or how much it was going to cost or anything. It was just, and then I said, oh, well, and halfway through, well, where do you live? And, Essex. And it's like, that's a 2-hour drive, but I don't care. I didn't care. And you said, look, we can do it online. It's like, no. I want to come. I want to be there. I want to be there in person.
But we have done some sessions online.
Yes, we did one online and one there. One online, one there. And that was great. That was absolutely great. And that was my choice. I could have had the choice to do it all online, but I chose. What I'm saying is there was no doubt. That's what I wanted. I just knew. I just knew. I don't know how I knew. I just knew this was going to be.
Well, you've been on such a big journey. You were ready. And I think that's the most important ingredient I'd say to anybody. You were ready. And when we have that onboarding call, that's a really important call, because it explores how much do you want this transformation? How much, not only are you ready to invest financially is the biggest obstacle, but in reality, that financial obstacle is symbolic of your fear of having to expose yourself and be vulnerable and let somebody in and open your heart. That's what the representation is. That's the fear, and that most people hang it on the cost, because it's an easy get out, isn't it? Oh yeah, I can't afford that, so that it's an easy get out. But that, when you're in the journey and you're doing it, I just want to take you back, Debbie, to our first session. And I can remember us having this conversation and you saying to me, do you remember the first conversations that we were having? And do you remember how you used to frame those conversations? Tell everybody, because they'll be the same. And where you are now in terms of how you frame those kind of conversations.
It goes back, I think, to the marriage, the childhood, or whatever. If only my partner would understand, if only, I could be better at this, if only. And it was always if only. And you're always looking and reaching out for the future or things around you to change, rather than I need to change in the world that I'm living in so that I can be the person that I want to be in amongst all the thorns and the prickles and that life throws at us, because life does throw it, and it's not easy, and it's not an overnight thing. And even today, I know I'm a million miles further than when we first met, but it's still a challenge, and you still have to work on it. And there will still be times where something happens, and in the back of my mind it's like, what would Anne-Marie do? But I'm not doing that.
But you do, but
that's
let's be
okay.
honest though, you do it differently now. I want, and if you want to share this, but the conversation that we had about 2 weeks ago, the biggest thing that you did, I mean, it was so not Debbie. Well, it's Debbie now, but it was so not Debbie a year ago. Do you remember when we had this conversation? Now, I know we don't want to get too personal because this is your personal business, but you made such a statement in your relationship that it shifted everything in your relationship. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Right. And just from the fact of you doing that, you know, your relationship was this kind of relationship where you were very much still in that submissive role, can we say? And then a situation happened and you really were asked in your mind to step up to everything that you've been taught, everything that you'd learned, all the hypnotherapy. You had to use all of that and make a statement, a massive statement. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And that massive statement that you made, what did it do to your relationship?
It changed it completely, because there was the understanding, and there was actually the conversation had, like you say, without going into too much detail.
Yeah.
That situation, I immediately froze, and I just wanted to do what I had done all the years before.
Yes.
But I knew I couldn't. I had to do and put what we had learned and what I had learned through this for me, because otherwise I was just going to go on going backwards and backwards. And it was just that I just did it. I was scared, you know. It doesn't take the fear away. You still have those fears, but not like before, you know, because then suddenly you're thinking about
and
it.
You made a total commitment to that decision that you were making.
Yeah,
like,
and all the strategies that we had learned and talked going through the course, those were then all coming back. Or I found myself about to, and it's like, I tell you, the one that really I just love, and we came to that, was open the door. I can't do that, and I closed that door. Now normally I would have opened the door, closed the door, and then just gone away, but then I remembered I can't do that door today, but I can open this. Oh yeah, I can do this door. So there were a couple of doors that I tried to open and I couldn't, but then there were more doors that I opened and I could step through. And that, even though I just think, even though you could open 2 or 3 doors, you might not be able to open all 10, but then that's time. I can't expect, you know, 50 odd years of training and everything and experience to just be gone in 6 months. It's ongoing work. You've got to keep doing it. It's, you know, it's like losing weight. You can't, or following a diet, you can't, you know, it's ongoing. If you lose the weight and you don't want to put it back on, well, you can't go back to eating the way you did.
You can't take your eye off the ball. It's an ongoing process.
You've got to carry on making those lifestyle changes to become better.
For those of you that didn't understand what Debbie was talking about, she was talking about a hypnotherapy session. So everybody that I work with, obviously I get to know them intimately. So I create hypnotherapy sessions that are relevant to you, your lifestyle, your personality, and what would empower you, what you can use as an anchor to hold on to. And that one was really significant for you because, again, it always gave you options. It wasn't, because what you were used to doing before was it's all or nothing. And this particular session allowed you to go, okay, well, not today, then I can do that and I can do it. And I think, and so many things that I saw for you that changed. When Debbie first started working with me, if there was a situation, she would feel like, again, in that situation, right, when I have a conversation, I'm going to bring everything in from the past because I've not been able to talk about it before. But then you learned as well that, okay, let me just talk about this scenario, deal with this scenario, and then I can deal with the next scenario, and then I can deal with the next scenario. And by breaking it down, you became more powerful and more resilient to be able to have those conversations that you weren't having before. You just weren't having them, but actually being able to speak your truth, and not in a defensive, angry way, not in a slanderous way, but in a, I'm in control and I'm confident and I can do this. And that is the change that I've seen in you. That's a real personality change. That's for life now. You're not going back. You can't unlearn what you've learned. And that, I think, is the real power of this journey, that people, there are some programs that you can do that they give you tools for the moment, but you forget about them and you slip back. You're never going to slip back the way that you did before. You're never going to slip back to that person, because this is you now. This is you. Sorry, I've got all these beautiful people that are saying amazing things to you, darling. I love how you're fighting through your fears and becoming even stronger. Oh, Natalie, that's from Natalie. Isn't she awesome, Natalie? Kim said, I think that I will be a challenge for any hypnotherapist. Kim, I can't tell you how many times I've heard that one. Emma Jane just recently said that one to me when I first started working with her. Everybody says the same, because it's hard to believe that you can sit in a chair and go to sleep and wake up and be able to do things differently. And it's not instant. It's not magic abracadabra. It's a process that you wake up every day. It's ongoing. And that empowered you is working. Your subconscious is working. Remember, it's got to eliminate all of those tiny memories from the past, millions of memories. Your subconscious is now working and saying, oh no, we don't do that anymore. Oh no, we don't do that anymore. Oh no. So that's a lot of work.
But it's also notice what you notice. I love that saying, because look how often, then I would come to the next session and then I would just be talking and you would say, and you would point out the changes which I hadn't noticed.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh yeah. But then the more you were pointing them out, and that's what I've learned over the months as well.
Yes.
Is to start noticing what you notice. Absolutely. Because initially you don't notice yourself, but then when you're just talking in general and somebody like you ask the questions and then it's like, wow, oh yeah, wow.
Yeah. It happened the other day with me and Emma Jane. We had a session together and I don't know what I did. I started a conversation in the therapy room and she said to me, should we carry that one on over the other side? And I was like, oh, okay. And she looked at me and I said, that was really assertive. And she was like, oh, yeah, it was. That's how it happens. You just all of a sudden notice that you're different. Brilliant. So, right, let me ask you a question, because this is a question for all the people that are watching that may be feeling, yeah, well, Debbie looks like a really confident, in control kind of person. It's easy for Debbie. That's what people will be thinking about you, Debbie. I know. I know. You're like, wow, me. But that's what people may be thinking about you. So I want to ask you a question. When you saw, I asked this to everybody, but I already know the answer for you. When you saw the Self-Confidence for Life Success offer, what almost made you say no? You didn't say no. You were like, no, I want more. Most people go, oh, no, I don't know if that's going to be fit. No. You were like, no, I'm saying no because I want to do the whole program. So
yeah, there was absolutely no doubt in my mind whatsoever. Brilliant. And there again, I think that because we have that voice and we have that gut instinct.
Amen. Yeah.
And all throughout my life, when I've had that feeling and it's always been right. It's always been right. And there's been times where I've ignored that feeling or that voice or whatever. And then it was like, I knew it. I knew it. And there wasn't, you're right. There just was no...
That connection with inner self, that voice. So you've got your ego, the one that's been holding you back for all that time. And then you've got your higher self, the one that wants the very best for you. What I found over the years is I used to listen to this voice a lot. I didn't even know I had the higher self voice. I didn't hear her very much at all. But over the years of training and tuning in and catching those ego thoughts and saying, I'm going to expose you. Where has that come from? Is that my 5-year-old self? Well, you know what? That's okay. I can see you're worried. It's fine. And I have those conversations with myself. It's now that higher self voice is much louder and says, you can do this. You can do anything you want to do. You're amazing. You're powerful. I'm hearing the words that I suppose I should have heard as a child. And the same for you. Those words that you would have.
Yeah. And I think answering that question is what was the hesitance is... I didn't want to carry on the way I was carrying on. I wanted to sort it and I wanted to sort it now. So for me, that was priceless. It didn't matter how far you lived. It didn't matter how much it cost. It was so important for me to be able to be the real me and to be happier and live a much happier and confident and enjoying life. And so often you know, you're a mother, you know, you don't think of you. It's always about the kids and this and that and the next thing. And actually I needed to invest in me.
Yeah.
To be a better person for me personally, to be a better person for me as my job, to be a better person to help my clients. It was the whole package, because I thought, you know, if I'm a better person and learn through all of this, that's going to have a knock-on effect to how I help my clients.
And not just your clients, it's had a knock-on effect with everybody, hasn't it?
Yes.
You know, have you had the best Valentine's Day ever, Debbie?
Yeah.
and but those things make a difference. Those things make a difference, don't they? And your partner now sees you. He sees you. You're visible to him. He knows the value of you.
Yeah.
And just that's because you are being you, and you are, you know, being visibly you, that you've become visible to him. Whereas before you were kind of not doing that as much as what you would have liked to. But anyway, I'm not going to go into that, because that is what it is. And everybody will recognize that we've all been invisible in our own homes sometimes, even with the kids. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I have to remind them, I've got a name as well. It's not just mum. My name's Anne-Marie. I'm a real person. Hi. Okay, so what was the program like, and what was it like working with me?
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And I mean that. You know, I honestly mean that. I'm not just saying it. Like I said to you right in the beginning, you make people feel, you made me feel so relaxed, so comfortable. You talk about the trust, you know, like you say, you know, you're opening up to some deep, dark secrets there.
Yeah.
But because of the way that you made me feel, right from that first call after the networking meeting, right through to the first time I came to your house and more, there was just that immediate connection, and I could relax. I wasn't nervous. I didn't feel, oh, what if I don't give the right on? There was nothing of that. It was there. But then I think I was going, and I was open for it, because for me to receive what I needed to receive, I needed to be able to go and be open.
Yeah, yeah. And we synchronized, didn't we, Debbie? We synchronized quite a lot, didn't we? How did we synchronize?
With the colors of clothes that we would wear on the same day. I did notice that tonight, and I just thought, oh, well, it's close enough. Pink, red. Yours is just a bit brighter than mine.
That was amazing, though. How many times did that happen? We'd be like, where did that come from?
Yeah, I know. I would arrive at your door and you'd open it and we're both wearing the same colour clothes.
Yeah, I mean, that's not coincidence. That is synchronicity. And I think there's so much to be said for the combined consciousness. When you work with someone, you really are connecting with them, heart and mind. It's not just you know, you're reading your notes and whatever, but you actually really, and that you feel their pain and they feel your pain. And even as an empath, I protect myself. But that's why I'm an energy coach as well, because I use my energy to really hold people when they're when it's a struggle, because there are times when the challenge is really great. It's not an easy journey. I don't want anybody to think that, yeah, it just all happens really easily and all of a sudden you're this great person, you're really happy all of a sudden. There are times when you feel that maybe there's too much to do and you don't want to go on anymore. And I don't know if you felt like that throughout your journey. I remember.
I mean, look how many tears we had, but then it was through.
I cried too. I'm going to put my hands up. I'd like to say that I'm really professional and I go, oh no, it's okay. But I'm just there with you crying, going, oh my gosh. Tears of joy, tears of joy.
Yeah, but it was also tears of, it was through those tears where sometimes you had the biggest impact of awareness, because suddenly it was like all that deep down and that's coming out. But then the relief afterwards and the, you know, that was quite
the lightness.
That was powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, the lightness of being, you feel like you've shed it, you feel like you've actually let go of it, and that just makes you so much lighter in the world. It makes you so much freer in yourself as a person. You can physically feel letting go of that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what's your life like now that you've now that you have the outcome that the program delivers. So I can remember what you came to me for. I'm not going to share it here because that's confidential, but I remember when we did the Wheel of Life, the things that you said that you wanted for yourself. How do you feel that you're aligned with what you came to me for?
It's a little bit hard to answer that because we're in lockdown. So so it's been a bit of a weird year, and we didn't know what was coming. So, you know, that Wheel of Life, that was a mind-blowing thing, because when I worked that out and you saw, you know, there was, there's no pleasure and there's no fun and there's no going out and there's no, you know, but it's work and it's this and then when you see it and you draw those lines up to the dots, you realize how imbalanced your life is. But it's a good
exercise, though, isn't it, for you to think, right?
Because it kind of, that really jumped out of me, and even though subconsciously and deep down I knew I'm in this office working too many hours, it was just kind of, well, what else is there to do? You know, I might as well just put time into my business, because I'm not going to just sit down and, you know, watch daytime TV all day. I might as well just come and work and benefit by putting as many hours into the business as I can now, and training and everything to grow my business, rather than just flittering away lockdown hours.
But you did become very focused. I can remember a session that we had very early on when we were working together, and you were like, oh my gosh, I've got so much work, I'm not getting it done, I'm not doing your work, it's all going wrong, I can't do this. Do you remember this?
I remember that
absolute meltdown that you had, like, it's just not working, I just can't do this, and we were like, whoa.
I haven't done the homework and I haven't got time. And now,
and then, do you remember we had the session, right? If you remember this, we had the session. It's quite a long session. You worked through some stuff and you really let go of a lot of stuff. And then you posted to me. Remember?
Yes.
Yeah. We had the session, you cleared everything, and then you were like,
I sent a special delivery so you would get it the next day.
You did. And all of that, it was sheets and sheets and sheets of work that I think it was like all 4 sessions. You hadn't done any of them. You were thinking you were failing and that this whole program wasn't going to work for you. We had that breakthrough session, and then you literally did it all in one day and sent it to me in the post. And the next day it came special delivery. And I was like, I thought you said you were struggling. You was like, yeah, I know.
Once I got into it and started doing it, it all just flowed.
Yeah. And I've seen that with I mean, I know I'm just an outsider looking in, but, you know, we don't work with the business stuff because that's what you do with your business. But I've definitely seen it having an impact on your business. Okay, so when I first met you, there were no Facebook Lives. Look at you now.
No.
You are the Facebook queen right now, right? And I cannot believe that you was like, I don't do Facebook Lives. And you're amazing now. Not only you're amazing at doing Facebook Lives, but your graphics are just off the wall. I'm just like, I need her to be doing this for me. You know, your creativity, and that is the amazing thing about hypnotherapy. It really opens up your creative mind.
Well, and you really have a hope in hell of doing an interview with me like this.
I know.
Pre-meeting you, if somebody had asked me to do it, there was no ways, not a hope in hell you would have got me on. And it would have been, give me all the questions first. But then that's what I love. Remember when we did that last interview as well, and it's like, no, don't give me the questions, because then I'm going to overthink it. Yeah. And then I'm going to be so worried about, have I got the right answers? Because that's what I do.
Yeah, and it was what you did.
Yes.
Because you don't do that anymore.
No.
Because even this interview today, I said to you, I'm going to send you the questions. You said you don't need to, you know. And I mean, that might be a small thing, but it's massive, because when you have the confidence to be able to, you know, speak your truth freely, that's such a freedom. Because I remember when we were working together, we used to have to write things down of how you were going to have conversations.
Yeah.
And you weren't, and you tried, but you're like, oh no, I didn't do that this week. And now you're just everything's so much freer, everything that you do, and it shows. It shows in your face, it shows in your demeanor.
I was looking in my drawer because I've still got those pieces of paper in my drawer.
Yeah, and you don't need that anymore. You're so free of all of that. And I think that's for me to see that in you, the freedom of the carefreeness of how you are and standing in your own power, I can imagine that you've become a very attractive woman to your partner. That's what I'm thinking. No, I'm telling you what, because confidence is sexy, right?
Yeah.
And when a woman speaks her mind and she does it with such empowerment, you can't help but go, wow, even if they're telling you off. Yeah, I didn't put my slippers away, but wow, she's so sexy. And don't be surprised if your partner starts doing naughty things so that you can see your, you know, your assertive look, because it's attractive and it's sexy. You see? Slow down. Is there anything that you'd want to say to any of our ladies here who have come on this 5-day journey? Haven't they been phenomenal? Haven't they? Haven't they really opened their hearts?
Absolutely. Yeah. Brilliant. I've loved seeing the posts and the homework and everything.
Yeah.
It's even encouraged me, even though I've done the program. Some of the comments and everything have been encouraging to me even.
Yeah. They're powerful. And we still have our last session to do, of which we now have a VIP day, where we spend time together, and that's going to be awesome. That's going to be awesome. I know. I'm just so excited about it too. And also now we've created a Wow Woman sisterhood, where when you finish a massive program like this, where you've spent so much time, not just meeting me, but meeting all the other people, the other women that I've worked with. So you've made friends along the way as well. We now have a group which you go on to so that you can continue that journey and it doesn't ever have to end, because personal development never should end.
No,
we should always be growing ourselves, growing into the person that we were meant to be from the moment that we were born, but life got in the way of all the crap that gets piled up. And so you become more and more of you. It's a shame we have to wait till we're this old, really. I wish I'd have done all this when I was 20. Wow.
You and me both. You and me both.
We weren't ready. We had to have that journey. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. I know there are some women on this call right now who are still looking at their past and not being able to recover, and still feeling very much in that past, feeling that past, stuck in that past. And I really think it's important that they can understand, particularly with your journey and with my journey, that you can let that go. It doesn't diminish what happened, but you can draw a strength and say, if that hadn't have happened to me, I wouldn't be this person today. You know, because there is darkness and there is light. We live in a world of duality and polarity. And as bad as it gets is as good as it gets. Yeah. So if you only led a charmed life, what do you know?
The real world is the real world. Even having done this, it doesn't mean that it's going to be strawberries and creams moving forward. You know, and I don't believe that, but that's where you've just said with personal development is ongoing, and it's ongoing because life isn't strawberries and creams, and sometimes there's difficulties and you will use what you've learned and deal with it, and other times you might scimper away and put the duvet over your head, and that's okay because I've done that. But then it's no, let me take my head out from under the duvet. Now I need to. So it's not necessarily all like, boom, okay, fine, now magic wand Anne-Marie's fixed me. It's you've got to keep going, and you've got to notice when you notice. Yes.
And it's about developing that muscle. You've got these tools and strategies now, and the more you use them, the more they become habitual. The more habitual they become, your personality becomes your personal reality, and then that behavior is embedded and you become this person. It becomes autopilot, and that's what we would want for all of the ladies on here, that assertive, confident, empowered, joyful, happy woman becomes your autopilot. And that when there are dark times, they're significant because you don't usually have them, rather than being on that existing treadmill of when something good happens, you're like, wow, you know, oh my gosh, I've got to get drunk and all of that stuff, because it's so rare that it takes a total flip, that your life becomes easy and peaceful and tranquil, and that's the norm. And that if anything happens if something negative happens, it's more significant because I'm not used to that. So I'm going to deal with that because I want to get back to that plateau of being easy and calm and peaceful.
Yeah.
Oh, you've been absolutely awesome, Debbie. Thank you so much for sharing your journey, and to be able to share your journey, that just gives me so much joy, because, you know, it's when you can share your journey and still be smiling at the end of it, you know how far you've come.
Yeah.
Really.
No, you're welcome. I just hope it's inspired some of the other ladies who might.
Of course, you are inspiring. You are inspiring, and I'm just, I'm just going to continue to watch the journey because it's a joy to watch you. We rise together, right? That's our hashtag. We rise together.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to pop you back in the green room, darling, because I just want to finish up and tell these ladies what else there is for the Saturday and Sunday, the times and stuff, and just say thank you for them for their journey. So thank you, ladies. Did anybody have any questions for my beautiful Debbie? Really well done, says Natalie. I know that about you, as it made me know you truly, fully care and understand. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, such nice. Such nice, honestly, such lovely messages. Thank you, girlies. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But you know, it's a partnership. It's never just me. It doesn't work if you don't work. You know. That's incredible. Really well done, Debbie. You're a Shaolin master. She didn't say that. I said that bit. Right. Yeah, we'll catch up afterwards. I'm just going to pop you back on here while I just finish up here. All right, Debbie?
Okay.
But thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody.
Look at that. Debbie goes back into the green room. Oh, I love this. I love this. In practice for my new show. I'm going to give you a little bit of a teaser about my new show, because part of this new program, it's not new, Flow is the program that I originally started off with, and then I created Be the Real You, because this level is when you haven't done any personal development at all, but you have an awareness that you're ready for change. And Be the Real You is quite intensive. It goes to the next level, and it starts to show you some the more spiritual aspects of becoming the person, the best version of you. And then the big leap to transcendence is when you're totally spiritual, if that's something that's interesting to you. But here's my teaser. So tomorrow we are here at, it's Saturday, it's 5 to 5 and it's Crackerjack. No, you probably won't remember that, you're too young. But Saturday we have our evening meeting at 7, and it's a really quick one. Hey, Lucy. But what you've heard is amazing transformation. Well done, Debbie. Yeah, she is awesome, Lucy. So tomorrow we're here at 7, and I'm just going to show you the offer of how the program works in a little bit more detail. Sunday is when we draw all the prizes. That's going to be at 6 o'clock. We're going to draw all the prizes, and you're going to get that awesome Divine Woman meditation / hypnotherapy. It's more hypnotherapy than it is meditation. And it's really about showing you what your life could and will be like when you have done this work, how you will feel. It's an amazing session. You will be floating on air, and that's just a little glimpse of what you can achieve when you're working with me. So it's been a wonderful evening. If you're now thinking, do you know what, I want to get ahead of the game, I don't even want to wait for Saturday or Sunday, I want to book an appointment in with Anne-Marie today, this is what I need in my life, I want to make that snap decision like what Debbie made. She knew it was right for her, I know it's right for me, I want to book that session in, then please go to my private page and just send me a link, and I can send you a calendar which will book you in for a 30-minute, I think it's 30 or 40 minutes, where I can talk through with you the program, exactly the same call that I made with Debbie, which explores what do you want for yourself, what's been holding you back, you know, what are the pain points. We go through that whole conversation, so at the end of it you know exactly what your next step should be. It may be that you think, well, I don't know, it may be that you think, I'm ready, I want to be in that place of empowerment, I want to speak my truth, I want to be visible, I want to become more visible, I want to expand in my business, I want a better relationship, I want to start attracting new friends that respect me and allow me to be me. There are so many changes that you can make in your life that will empower you to be the very best version of you, and you don't have to be carrying any of that shame or guilt or fear or any of those low level negative emotions that just limit your life, that don't allow you to live to your true potential. And every woman, every man, every boy, every child deserves that. You deserve that. You've come here for a reason. Are you living your purpose? Because if you're not, and you need some guidance and you need some support, you need to speak with me and join our fabulous group of Wow Women. That's all I have time for. Any messages that I've missed out? We rise together, our hashtag. Thank you. I'm going to put that. That's Lucy. She's she's a coach as well. She's got an amazing story. So, you know, you don't have to be anybody. You don't have to have a degree in anything. You don't have to have any qualifications. You can be a life coach. You can be a doctor. You can be a one-to-one Cambridge diet consultant. You can be someone who sells rattan furniture. You can be anybody. But what you need to be is the real you. And that's what we do. So thank you all. Night all. And lovely to see you all. And I'll see you tomorrow here at, what time did I say? I'm sure I said 7. I did. I said 7. See you here tomorrow at 7 and then Sunday at 6, the finale. Or you can DM me and book in for a call with me. Lots of love. Ciao for now. Good night. Good night. Good night. See you tomorrow.